It's a Free Speech Freedom Friday on Twin Cities News Talk, and we have 5 joining us here today. I'm included in that. Brett is producing. We also have lawyers extraordinaire. Jeff O'Brien was kind enough to bestow the title upon Nick Morgan, his colleague, who joins us in studio. Glad to have you guys here.
Yeah, we'll drop the license agreement later.
Representative Max Rymer in studio.
Hello.
As well. And, of course, we're hearing from you all morning long on the iHeart Radio app.
Hey, John, when I'm really hard up for listening content, sometimes I will listen to Garage Logic. They talk about you over there, too. Have a great day.
Everybody's talking about me, apparently.
Popular.
I know, right? Makes me feel special. I'm going to go home with a smile on my face now. All right, let's go here. A proposed pilot program to add cameras at traffic lights in an effort to reduce speeding and improve pedestrian safety could be debuted in several cities beginning this summer. I only laugh just because you know that, and especially with the fines they're going to be doling out, nobody's going to be changing their habits, at least not the way that they want them to. So in 2024, lawmakers approved a pilot program. This was in Mendota Heights and Minneapolis that would run from August 1st of this year through August 31st of 2029. To allow the implementation of automated cameras to monitor traffic law violations such as speeding and red light running. After that period, an independent evaluation of the program will be reported to the Minnesota legislature. That's where you'll come in, Max, for the review of its effectiveness. Now, we got to go back in time. Minneapolis did try red light cameras almost 20 years ago, ended the program in 2007 after the state Supreme Court ruled it wasn't legal, saying the city did not currently have the statutory authority to implement a system as it was constructed. However, the more narrowly tailored proposals that made their way through the Minnesota legislature in 2024 did pave the way to make the idea a reality in communities under certain conditions. Legislation will allow the speed cameras in Minneapolis is now expanded to the entire state, adding red light cameras to the bill. All right. I'll get into the details of the citations here in just a moment. Let's go around the room here and get your thoughts, because I thought that this battle had been fought and the red light cameras had lost a long time ago in various states around the country.
Well, yeah, I did too, John. And I have some personal knowledge. I was at the firm that was one of my partners that was involved with the cases that took it down the first time. There was a Supreme Court case that ruled it unconstitutional, and then there was a class action case against the city to refund all the fines. So when I was listening in on the first hour, when I think one of your callers were talking about, you mentioned about, may ask us about this. I'm like, didn't we kill that? And I went and looked at, if you look at this pilot program, I mean, this thing has as many teeth in it as those roadside signs that say, put your seatbelt on and drive sober. I mean, you can if you get a violation, you can send a letter in saying, oh, that wasn't me driving the car. Okay.
Why are we doing this, man?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, you can't design this thing to make it work that doesn't violate people's constitutional rights of due process.
So all you have to do is write a letter and say that wasn't
wasn't
me.
Yeah.
I guess they hope that the cameras enough will be. Listen, if that's the case, then just go with my idea that I've had and just, find the squad cars that aren't being used anymore and just go and place them in various places around the city. Just put them on the side of the road. That's enough to go and slow.
Yeah, they have enough. I mean, at least
people down on
they've got enough empty squad cars.
In St. Paul, they do too. I'm noticing every time I'm down there just how many empty cop cars are just sitting around.
Nick, you got thoughts on this?
Well, having a brother in law enforcement, I think the other thing that they're worried about is, one, I think that you slightly hit on it, that we have a huge decrease in the amount of people who want to or are serving in police forces. And usually, much like other industries, when you don't have enough people, usually you start trying to bring in the robots or the people or the things that will track things, as opposed to trying to get those people in. And then I think the other thing is that I think this is a natural reaction to what ends up being one of the more dangerous things that cops end up doing, which is the traffic stop. And to have AI cameras take care of things as opposed to, either the bad press that comes from those traffic stops or from potentially horrible things happening to people on the police force. I think this is just going to be something that keeps coming and coming as a way to replace the negative news that comes from those.
Do you, and Jeff, I'll start with you. Do you anticipate that when it comes to the new red light cameras specifically, do you expect there'll be some legal challenges again on this issue that people will push back?
There's always legal challenges to everything. Yeah, and I do think the first person that gets tagged with one of these violations will be contacting somebody to sue over it.
Sure. You want to give your phone number now? Let's go to the iHeart or radio app.
I'll agree to red light cameras if they have facial recognition so we can catch the criminals and the illegals in Minnesota. Yeah, I'm for them then.
Well, and let's
go.
That's a good, I'm glad that you played that one because...
Wait, hold on 1 second, because you know what she was doing? She was just playing that they-them energy.
They-them energy. They-them energy.
Okay, go ahead, Jeff.
I wonder if she was black and indigenous.
Black and indigenous, people of color.
He's good.
Black and indigenous, people of color. Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer.
I just love it, that clip, because she's doing the Matthew McConaughey from Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, sorry, please go ahead.
These songs are not the same vibe with when the USID money ran out, apparently. So the story I read about these cameras is they can only ring up traffic violations. If you've got somebody that's got, if you've got someone that's got 5 kilos of coke on the passenger seat, you can't use the traffic cameras to use as evidence.
Come on.
It's almost like, hey, you should be holding it up, as the camera's capturing you.
But drive this
holding up 2 guns. Look what I got.
As long as you're driving the speed limit going through the traffic light, you can
just hold up your big bag of coke.
Don't run the red.
Yeah, exactly.
I will just say in DC they have they do have these red light cameras in neighborhoods and speeding cameras. It really does contribute to the hellish nightmare, Orwellian nightmare that Washington DC is. You just feel it. I think it contributes to just what a horrible place that is the speeding cameras.
Yeah, hopefully they'll somehow map out where all those red light cameras are going to be. So one, I can do my very best to avoid them, because if they're just up in Minneapolis, St. Paul, that's not a problem. I'll never be in either of those 2 cities or the surrounding areas.
This brings up.
There will be an app, I promise.
Well,
within 2 days, there will be an app.
If you plug in, when you've got your GPS on your phone running through your car, it'll tell you where the traffic, where they're waiting for, the speed traps and all that. They're going to design something to say, when you go through a light, which one has a camera on it, and so
Well, you raise an interesting point. I do want to get to the other stories in the time that we have left, but let me go here.
Hey, with the red light cameras, are they going to try and do carjacking cameras? So
if under your scenario, it can only be for the red light infraction. So if the car is carjacked at the lights, and then the person subsequently runs the next one,
does the owner write the letter that it wasn't them? Yes. Or does the carjacker, or how does this? By the way,
disaster.
The ultimate irony that they want to do these red light cameras while at the same time removing their shot spotter system in Minneapolis, which is what these people are pushing for, is hilarious. You don't want to know where the gunshots are, but you do want to know who's running a red light or two.
So if the camera catches the carjacking and then the carjacker speeds through the light, you couldn't prosecute the carjacker for speeding through but you could prosecute the carjacked for...
Correct, and then the carjacked would have to write the letter saying I had it stolen.
This just seems like efficient, The
girl next door,
Oh, here we go. This is the defense. This is my letter.
So it wasn't you.
All right, because I don't know how clean this song is, so I'm not going to go any further.
It's not clean.
All right.
It's definitely not clean.
I'm going to stop it there.
Thanks for saving me the edit, too.
Let's go here. There's another one. If you commute around the Twin Cities, you probably know Highway 7 has a bit of a reputation. At its best, according to the article from KARE 11, it's a fast-moving, convenient east-west connection. At its worst, many say it's downright deadly. So apparently, 5 fatalities last year. This is according to the sergeant with the South Lake Minnetonka Police Department. So now the Highway 7 Safety Coalition, comprised of departments along the highway, did receive a grant to improve safety on Highway 7, and this includes the installation, partnering up with a tech company to deploy AI camera technology that can detect when somebody is driving distracted. The cameras can see right into your car. So we need to double up this technology with a red light camera so we can cover all the bases, right? The cameras can see right into your car, see you on your phone, and the tech can also detect if you're not wearing a seatbelt as well. They do say that officer discretion will come into play. The tickets aren't automated or mailed out. The cost of the citation is similar to that of a speeding ticket. So my understanding the last time we covered this is the AI camera will catch you, notify law enforcement within like 5 seconds, and law enforcement will come and conduct the stop on you based off of what the camera footage told them that it saw.
Yeah, I was trying to understand exactly how this is going to work, but there was some sort of element of human confirmation of the violation versus just
right. There has to be an officer involved.
The robot coming up with the violation.
So this kind of defeats what Nick had said earlier, because you're still creating a police interaction, a human police interaction.
This just seems to me another way to expand out, basically the cameras they now have basically on every officer in Minnesota, where if the officer isn't physically there with their camera, they now have AI to basically double their reach. So it's just a way to now we're just enhancing the officers, because they're now just going to be looking at this and saying, oh yeah, I see the violations there, and there. Thanks, AI.
This seems like kind of more of a test run for what AI is going to do in the future as it continues to sort of, be implemented into our society. You look at this in terms of law enforcement aspects, because with this particular program, for the privacy aspect, what's being done with the pictures, if you're pulled over, you're going to get a verbal warning. Police say the picture or whatever evidence the AI takes will be in the system for 90 days. If you get a ticket or you're arrested, then that footage can apparently be kept longer for court purposes. But again, this seems like a pilot program, not in so much as this technology relating to distracted driving, but also a test run for AI and its ability to be used in other areas of law enforcement that we haven't even discussed and, that hasn't been put out into public yet.
Yeah, well, if this is true that you have to have still have to have the human interaction, I can give you a prediction right now of how this pilot program is going to work. Was it Mendota Heights, the other community?
So the Mendota Heights was the red light cameras.
Okay, so you've got Dakota County there. Minneapolis is...
This is Minnetonka and Highway 7.
Yeah, Minnetonka. Anything in Hennepin County, if it involves law enforcement being involved, with Mary Moriarty as Hennepin County attorney, they're going to look and say, nope.
Yep. In fact, when we're subject to this in Hennepin County, if we get to just write a letter, if you get pulled over by one of these cameras, you should write a letter and just say, my friend Mary Moriarty was driving. We should send those letters en masse.
Quick comment, John. I love this thing about the cameras and everything else and the negative publicity from traffic stops. They don't care about the cops. They care about those elected politicians who use their privilege, democratic privilege, to browbeat the officers when they've been caught red-handed breaking the speed or whatever.
I thought I was going to quote Shaggy there for just a minute in that.